different backdrop. Not quite my neck of the woods. Palm trees, white buildings, sunny skies, beach and ocean, and swimming pool. Wow. Isn't that something? Very, very nice. Now then, what shall I start this new series? I think I'll start it Awakened Brave meets Mrs. X. Now, some of you will be aware that there is a lady, a viewer, a long-term viewer from about 7 or 8 years, an avid viewer, someone that knows a great deal about me, my life and my philosophies and all that different sort of stuff, thought it would be a good idea for herself and me to go on holiday. She invited me at no expense to myself. I never met the woman, didn't know anything about her, other than I knew she'd been a long-term viewer, and you know, a little bit of information from the comments, and so I thought, well, the Awakened Brave likes adventure, as some of you know. So she asked if I wanted to go on holiday, and so I accepted. And then I thought, well, it might be a good idea just to have a little bit of a chat before we go. Yeah, just to make sure a few things. So we had a chat. We had a WhatsApp chat for a couple of hours, and we got on great. And so we thought, let's do it. So we looked around, and she did the vast majority of the work. Very grateful for all of that. And we decided that Gran Canary, in this particular resort, looks nice, half board, so we've got breakfast and evening meal, great food, great hotel, lovely location, and we arrived last night at 10:30. We met at the airport and we spoke constantly for the duration of the 4.5-hour flight and 2 hours in the airport, so constantly for 6.5 hours. Then today again we started early-ish at 8 o'clock, and we spent the whole day together up until 4 o'clock, constantly in conversation, and so it's working out very well. And she's a private lady, so she doesn't want her or anything about her to be known to the world, and so I'll refer to her as Mrs. X. I've asked her how much of what we speak about would she be happy with me disclosing, and it's kind of like we've not really been settled. She's not really decided whether she wants at all to be on film, whether it's just the audio or her face or anything like that. But I think it would be reasonable for me just to chat broadly about the things we're speaking about, the path she's on, and you know, her journey and what she's been gleaning and absorbing from my journey. And it's very interesting for me to have a conversation with somebody who's watched so much of my life. You know, 7 or 8 years, it's a lot of my life, and And it's very bizarre for me, because to meet someone who's known of me or feels as if they've known me for many years, and me not knowing anything at all, yeah, it's kind of, it's something, you know, it's something. But we're having great conversations. We walked several miles today down the coast towards an area which is given to sand dunes, and walking and talking in the water's edge, eating an ice cream, and stopping to pause and admire the vista, but constantly philosophizing, talking about our psychologies, and lots of other things in relation to varieties of therapy and the experiences that we've had, and all the things that you would expect a discussion to revolve around. Not all the things, some of the things you'd expect an awakened brave conversation to revolve around. And so we're having a bit of a siesta, going to take a shower, and you know, send a few text messages, and upload a video, and we're going to see what's available to do on the island. And there's lots of stuff to do, like visiting the zoo and taking camel rides, and you know, there's all different sorts of safaris and things we could engage with, but mostly, I think, befitting to how we are, we like to walk and talk a lot, so we'll do that with a few little excursions and adventures scattered between, and we'll see how things pan out, and what I will discuss in relation to what we're discussing, because obviously I've got to respect her wishes, and work things out. And so we've spoken about many facets of psychology, and different peoples and different thoughts, and all those different sorts of things which are interesting. And we are both aghast at how few people we can meet in our lives who are prepared and able to engage in philosophical, psychological, meaningful discussions. How the vast majority of people just shy away from them. And if you start to speak remotely, philosophically or psychoanalytically, people are like, oh, that's deep, why can't you just do this, or why can't you do that? And then how many people just don't think about things? Well, I've been over this 1,000 times. And so when like minds meet, it's very refreshing. At the same time, it's very daunting and perplexing and worrying when we look at the condition of the human psyche en masse. And of course it's becoming increasingly more and more worrying. And when you are a thinking person, when you are an analytical person, when you are an intellectual person, and you look around and you absorb how the human being is, the world becomes a very, very peculiar place. And so then when we investigate, you know, the reality and truth and consciousness and all these different facets of human being, it just gets more and more bizarre. And it's an endless storm of data, an endless storm of thoughts, an endless storm of bewilderment, but an endless excursion of excitement and intrigue and perplexion, just aghast every day at so many facets of what this life has to offer us. And the more conscious we become, the more expansive it becomes. And so when scientists tell us that the cosmos is expanding, and you know, when we start looking for things, investigating things, and we keep finding more and more and more and more, well, you see, the cosmos is a mirror reflection of our consciousness, because we say that the cosmos is expanding because our knowledge is expanding, and we think it's our knowledge of it, but really, truly, it's our knowledge of ourselves. It's our knowledge of consciousness. That's what's expanding. And the more consciousness learns and creates, then of course it's a variety of expansion. Whether it gets bigger or more expansive in a physical way, it's still metaphor, because at the end of the day there's nothing physical supposedly in the cosmos, so things can't get bigger in a physical way. In a metaphysical way, things get bigger, consciousness expands. But you know, for us to say, oh, my consciousness has become ever increasingly expansive, well, it's still in my skull, apparently, according to, you know, certain intellectuals, let's say, of different trains of thought. But as far as I've always considered, consciousness isn't contained in the brain or in the human at all. It's a phenomenon which we are contained within. And so, anyway, without getting all deep and metaphysical again, we'll be speaking about lots of other things which are a bit more down to earth, and we'll be going to see things. We'll be looking closely at things because it's a different environment, and I'll be pointing out certain flora and fauna and things like that. And the trip to the zoo sounds very exciting, because I know the zoos in the Canary Islands are wonderful. They use natural barriers mostly, and it's like we're observing the animals in their natural habitat. So looking forward to doing all that stuff. So I'll leave this video here, and tune in for updates, guys and gals.